We have about 6 cruises under our belt, and we love them all. The longest they have been is 7 days. But a few weeks ago, we embarked on a 13-day transatlantic cruise, crossing the ocean, with 6 days at sea right from the start. Did we love it? Did we hate it?
We're going to find out together. Let's go.
Hi, and welcome to The Adventures of Dave
and Nikki.
A few weeks ago, we took a cruise across the Atlantic, leaving from Miami with the eventual destination of Barcelona, Spain. We're very excited about it. When we first booked the cruise and we looked through the itinerary, there were 6 days at the very beginning of the cruise. Boom! Right off the bat. And we're like looking at each other, what are we going to do for 6 days? That's pretty much as long as our normal longest cruise that we have taken. What are we going to do? How are we going to fill our time? What are the pros and cons?
And we had some other concerns, such as, is there going to be weather? Will we get seasick out in the middle of the Atlantic? Fortunately for us, it was springtime and the seas were just very smooth. No need for Dramamine and no drama.
No drama indeed. So we're going to talk about our expectations, what we experience, what we like and dislike about those 6 straight days at sea.
And how we filled our time.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
There are so many things to do on the ship. Every hour, there's at least 4 different other activities for all interests, from lectures to crafting to dance lessons, and our ship even had ice skating. So we found that it was really up to us to fill our day and to find things that kept us engaged and interested on those long at sea days. Some of the things that I found that fit my interest were, it's a long list. I took a 70s dance class, went to the gym, did a lot of walking, ice skating. I actually went ice skating on a cruise ship. That was a different experience.
Yeah, tell me about your 70s dance class.
Well, it was 70s night, and you could dress up in 70s, but during the afternoon, they had a little dance class to refresh some of us who may not remember the 70s too well, to refresh us on our John Travolta moves.
You know, she loves 70s music at home. When we put the 70s music on, the house is suddenly really clean because she just gets into it. So we covered the steps like the hustle and what else?
We did the Love Train. And burn, baby, burn.
Disco Inferno, baby.
Inferno. Yeah. Yeah, so we did several things with the activities direction, just learn the dances so that if you wanted to hit the 5th floor later, the promenade later when they had the actual band, you knew all the moves already.
Cool.
So it was a lot of fun. It was some good exercise too.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Dave and I like to play card games, play cribbage. There's a library. There's a lot of offerings on the ship for you to do. It's up to you to find out what you want to do and go after it.
Other things we did to fill our time was staying fit. Most cruise ships has pretty much a world-class fitness center, and they're open 24/7. So we made a routine, and routine is a big thing that we'll talk about just a little later, to hit the fitness center at a certain time of the day. there are everything to do. I like to do some strength training, do some cardio. I've really kind of gotten into like the rowing machine thing. With 6 Days at Sea, we went into, at least I went into it with some projects that I kind of want to learn. We're doing a YouTube channel like this now, and I want to improve a few things, especially with my filming. Because as we venture out into the world, which we're going to launch pretty soon, we're going to be seeing sights and sounds of different lands. So I want to have a creative plan and get better at actual filming. And I'm going to show you a few clips of that throughout this video of just the cruise ship, of how I practice intentionally how to film better.
For me, routines help me too, and it helped to have a loose plan for the day, such as I'm going to the fitness class in the morning after coffee, and then I'm going to do some walking, and then breakfast and jacuzzi in the afternoon. Having something to look forward to later really helps those sea days go by quickly. One of the things I did to keep myself entertained was see every nook and cranny of the ship. There was a lot of artwork in the hallways of where the cabins are. So I designed a little spiral tour of the ship where I went up the stairs and around all the way around the cabins, and then from second floor all the way to the 11th floor. So I got to see all the artwork in the hallways, and there were some really beautiful artifacts and photographs on that particular ship. And then once we got up to 11, it kind of dumps you out into the buffet. So there was that.
So she got her calories burnt before hitting the buffet. How smart was that?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if we mentioned it. The ship that we were on for this cruise is Royal Caribbean, the Explorers of the Seas. Now, here's some videos that I kind of made quickly about what we saw on the ship. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of stuff. Hey, I hope you enjoy that. If you want to see more content of that type, just drop me a comment and I will make it happen.
Another thing we did with our 6 days at sea is just to take care of some business. For instance, if you've seen our other videos, you know that we like to travel frugally. So we just did our laundry ourselves a little bit at a time in the room. So we got some laundry done. Also, we did a little research on the upcoming ports to see what we wanted to do there.
Yeah, what kind of, did we just use the hotel's like hand soap for laundry? How do we manage that?
No, I took some of those laundry sheets. They pack really small, and just tear them in half and do them in the sink. Just a few pieces at a time, and then you can rinse them. I roll them in the pool towel, and I do a little dance on top of them to squeeze the water out so they dry quicker. And then you just change out your pool towel. It's easy that way. What I used to use hotel hand soap, but I learned that there's something in actual laundry soap, that an enzyme that breaks down sweat and odors and is much better for your clothing. So now we travel with those, and they're easy peasy.
Sweat and odor. Right here. Sign me up.
I learned to really enjoy the downtime on the 6 sea days. I didn't completely pack hour to hour every single thing and activity for myself. We don't have this opportunity at home. Even being retired, we don't have that opportunity sometimes to just sit in the sun and stare out at the ocean and let your thoughts unwind. And do some people watching too. Something I really enjoyed is spectator sports, watching the surfers on the, what do you call that thing?
I think Flow Rider.
The Flow Rider. Yeah, they had one of those surfing wave machines, and there were some really good surfers there. And we also watched people taking lessons. And even though we didn't do the surfing ourselves, it was really fun.
I thought about doing it, and then I thought better of it. To what she was saying, just my personality is go, go, go. And I have to make a conscious effort to unplug, breathe, slow down. And these 6 days, I find by like day 3 or 4, I was full on in the mode of just chill. And I find it really nice because I know that, continuing on after the cruise, we have all these different plans, like where we're now, and that it'll be more demanding. The downtimes will be a lot more precious and rare. So I really kind of took that to heart and just relaxed. And it's kind of hard for me, but I'm improving on it. I'm happy about that. If you've been following our channel, you know that we like to live frugally, especially me. Being at sea for 6 days means we're not out of the ship, means everything is already paid for, which means we're not spending any money. My travel spent app, in which we track our daily expenses, got a little bored at me. The little owl is like saying, "Where are you, buddy?" But since our food is paid for, accommodations, entertainment, anything else, I did not have a need to go into the app and spend any money. Sure, we could have done specialty restaurants, buy drinks, but we made it a point not to do that on this particular cruise. And I think, correct me, Nikki, like we didn't spend a single penny besides the cost of the cruise and gratuity, right?
That's right. Not until we got off on the ports. We didn't buy the drink package or the pictures, and we did great.
Yeah. One thing that we did buy, but it was before the cruise, because we all need to stay connected, is a new cellular at sea internet access from the cruise called Gigsky. And I did a little review of that. I'll link it below.
Was that from the cruise line, or was that separate on your own, Dave?
It is separate on our own. Sure, we can all easily buy the cruise Wi-Fi. A lot of times they roll that into the package of the drinks, especially dinners or whatnot. And it's pretty easy too. But looking further into it, we found the price just a little more than we want to pay for internet access.
And since we don't get the drink package, we're not getting any savings on it because we can't get a combo.
Yeah. So check out my full review on Gigsky. I'll link it below. And overall, we're pretty happy with that service. All right. Those are all the good stuff. But, there are 6 days at sea. There's bound to be some cons, right? Nikki, do you have any?
There were a few. One of them is the temptation to keep checking on the buffet or the dessert area. Or the soft serve ice cream. The temptation to, hey, I'm not doing anything right now, let me go get a snack, is great. It is great. A little bit of self-control was necessary. There's no new scenery to look at. The ocean is beautiful. Once in a while we saw a whale, but it's all ocean. There was one cargo ship at one point, and I think I spent 15 minutes just going, wow, look at that cargo ship.
He was like, Dave, look. And I see the ship. Okay, that's a big cargo ship. Cool.
And I stared at it for a long time. On the ship, even though it's beautiful and there's a lot of art and a lot of things going on, you can walk from the bottom to the top so many times in 6 days and there's nothing new to look at. The people arrangement might change, the music might change, but you're still on the same boat.
Yeah, for the people that crave newness, the people that need the new dopamine hits by seeing new sights, it might be a little tough.
I mentioned before that I'm an introvert. I do like people, but I need quite a bit of downtime and quiet time. There are people everywhere on the ship, all the time, and music and sounds and activities. I got a little bit of sensory overload. Around day 5 at sea, I wanted to go to my room and read. There's a little voice in my head saying, oh, you're on this fabulous cruise. You should go out and do this. You should go line dancing or something. And I thought, wait, why should I? If I recognize that I need to have some quiet time and go read in the cabin for a couple hours, that's perfectly fine. You know, I'll do me and you do you. And that's what it worked out for me on that day. Day 6, I was ready to get back out there again.
Yeah, she mentioned that need to me, and, I know her pretty well. We've been together for a while. I just said, no problem. And so I took an iPad or whatever I did, and I just vacate myself somewhere and give her some space. And it worked out really well. I mentioned this a little earlier already about internet access. Being 6 days at sea, if you are still working or have mission critical things you need to be doing, Zoom calls and stuff like that, it might be a little bit challenging having strong, stable Wi-Fi, internet access, regardless if it's the cruise provider one or different services that we talked about. So that's something just to keep in mind if you need stable internet access. It might be a little bit of a challenge, especially far in the middle of the ocean.
We hear it could be challenging traveling with small children. Our children were older when we first took them on cruises, so we don't know. So you might want to think about how you're going to keep your kids entertained. They do have kids clubs and things like that, but I imagine a toddler or a small child, it might get very difficult.
Yeah, as far as like teens goes, these long transatlantic cruises usually attract a clientele that does not include too many children. I would say, there are probably not more than a few dozens kids out of thousands of people that we saw. Mm-hmm. The majority of the clientele are people in our demographic. It has time to get on a boat for a couple of weeks and cross the ocean. So even though the teens, they have a teen club, and like most cruise ship does, I'm not quite sure how populated those were with other teens. So if you have a teen, that's something you might want to think about.
Speaking of time, there were frequent time changes, an hour ahead, many days in a row.
Why is that?
Because we're crossing the Atlantic and going to a different time zone, just not all at once.
Which direction were we going?
We were going eastward.
Yeah. Does that mean
forward in time.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means we would get a little note on our cabin door at night saying, tonight, change your things 1 hour ahead.
Yeah, and, it was announced over the speakers. The staff at the restaurants will repeatedly tell us that. I think we changed time zones 6 times, maybe 7.
I think it was 7. And at first we thought, well, that'll help us ease into the European time zone a little easier. But what happened was, for instance, I kept making plans for the next day. Oh, I'm going to go to this workout class in the morning, then I'm going to do that. It really screwed up our routine. So you just have to be flexible.
Yeah, because, like breakfast ends at 11 a.m. every day. But that's the ship time. And the ship time rolls along, is aligned with whatever time zone you're in. So if you're changing the clocks overnight and losing 1 hour, the ship's not waiting for you. You know, your body's going to say, wait, it's just 10 o'clock, but breakfast is closing right now. So it's a challenge. It's a first world problem. It's just something that you have to deal with. Now, if you're taking trans-Pacific cruises, which we're going to be doing in just a little bit, right? You'd be actually gaining an hour at a time. You'd be having more time each and every day. So
I
that
guess
should
we'll
be
get
cool.
to sleep in.
We'll get to sleep in, and we'll share that experience with you. The last thing, let's talk about food. Cruise food, it's great. It's buffet. It's all you can eat. At dinner, you get to sit in these lavish dining rooms. But let's face it, how many different choices are there over 12 days? How many different cooks, chefs, and recipes can there be? So we gotta admit that I was getting just a little burnt out on variations of the same ingredients, basically cooked in kind of very similar ways. I'm not complaining about food. It's just that by the time that we were done with this cruise, my mouth was ready for different flavors. And on the port days, we were very excited to get off the ship and just try some local foods wherever we were.
We hope this information will help you plan your next transatlantic cruise. And we hope you enjoyed some of Dave's creative filming that we did on the ship.
Hey, if you like this kind of stuff, how about subscribe and hit the like button? After all, why not?
Please check out some of our other videos here and here.
Somewhere.
Until next time, bye.
Bye.